This podcast is about sex and sexuality, so please only listen if you are an adult without kids or other ears around that cannot or do not consent to sensitive language and content. Thanks. Hello and welcome to What Excites Us. My name is Gwen Isaacs. I am a clinical certified sexologist who's been helping folks with a variety of concerns since 2017. This episode is a replay from one of the sessions I had during my Reclaiming You Summit in September. If that's something that interests you, there will be another one coming up. I'm not exactly sure when, so you should be sure to be on the mailing list so you can find out more. This conversation, however, is amazing. It is with Ellecia Paine, your non-monogamy coach, and we talk about a whole bunch of things, including what you won't know you don't know, and how to deal with jealousy, what confidence really looks like, opening up a relationship, how that can go good or bad, just a whole bunch of fantastic topics that we touch on. So please stay tuned, listen to this wonderful recording, and go to whatexcitesus.com to be sure you are getting the newsletter for everything that happens in my world. Relationship coach Ellecia Paine helps adventurous people break the social conditioning of monogamy and learn how to navigate healthy alternative relationship styles such as ethical non-monogamy, open relationships, polyamory, and swinging. She helps them move through challenges like jealousy, fear, anxiety, and insecurities in a way that strengthens their relationships, deepens trust and communication, and leaves them feeling confident. As the host of the podcast, Nope, We're Not Monogamous, Ellecia believes in courageously challenging the status quo and empowering people to create relationships that work for the real people in those relationships. Throughout the past 10 years living in an ethically non-monogamous relationship while working as a sex, love, and relationship coach, Ellecia has acquired valuable insight and unique ability to share this information with her clients and audience in a way that hits home while leaving them feeling validated and whole. Thank you so much, Ellecia, for coming on to the Reclaiming You Summit. I am so excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This is going to be fun.
Let's just start with, how did you decide that non-monogamy was the thing that was going to work for you?
I love that question. Well, I was married non-monogamously. Nope, I was married monogamously for 13 years. And when that relationship ended, I was like, okay, I am 35. I have a couple of kids. I have a house. I have a business. I don't ever want to get married again. As a matter of fact, I don't ever want to be monogamous again. I didn't know anybody else who was non-monogamous, so it wasn't like I was seeing what other people were doing. I just was like, I don't think I want that for myself. And my joke was, I never want to be tied down again, figuratively. And I also knew that I had all my life been a pretty jealous and possessive person in my relationships. And so I knew that that was something I would need to figure out. And I thought, well, I guess I'll just be a little slutty, but I'll be honest about it because that seems like the right thing to do. And then I started meeting people who were polyamorous and non-monogamous and swinging and all sorts of varieties of non-monogamy and learning more and more about it, and have not looked back.
Excellent. That's amazing. Like you just like hit on the head. It was like, nope, done with that. Next.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I had realized how many things in my life I wanted but didn't go for because of my partner, because I was in love and didn't want to lose a relationship, so I didn't go and do the things I wanted, which created a lot of regret. And so I just didn't want to do that again.
Boy, that hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in a lot of different styles of relationships, like even in friendships, sometimes we find
Mhm.
ourselves not doing something because we're concerned what the other person thinks or doesn't think or wants to do or doesn't want to do it. And a lot of times we don't even communicate that. And then so we could be just imagining things.
Yeah.
But before we go any deeper into that, because that's a whole thing, let's back up a little bit. And can you break out those different non-monogamy styles?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, ethical non-monogamy or consensual non-monogamy is kind of an umbrella term for not being monogamous and being open and honest about it. And then under that umbrella, you have lots of things that people may have heard of. Polyamory is having many loves or the ability to love many people. Swinging is typically maybe couple swapping or kind of non-emotional, more play for fun, sexy times. Open relationships are kind of a similar thing there. Relationship anarchy is the idea that the structure of the relationship isn't what's important, but letting each relationship develop as it can and may. Those are kind of the main ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
there's so many other terms that people use. Like I could go on and on all day.
Right. Right. And the difference between this kind of poly and that kind of poly and all of the
Yeah.
things. But I don't think that's where we're at right now. For that, the folks should tune into your podcast to go much deeper.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay pretty surface in this one, although not too we're not gonna go deep. Let's just put it that way. That doesn't sound right either. I can just hear
So
Archer
deep.
in my head going, phrasing?
Uh-huh.
Lana, turning back to you a little bit. You had that realization that you didn't want to do that. How did you start investigating what the possibilities were? You said you didn't know folks. So how did you even know that was an option?
I didn't. Besides from just like dating, traditional dating where I was like, I don't see the difference besides, like people will just date, but they'll date one person at a time until they kind of select out, okay, that's not the one. So I'm going to date someone else. Okay, that's not the one. And now I'm going to date someone else. And and I was like, that sounds exhausting. But the first thing I did actually is I read The Ethical Slut. And that book really kind of opened my eyes to all the different ways that one can be an ethical slut, but also just to different belief systems besides what we are taught growing up. So I started there. And at that same time, I was going to school to become a coach, and I was in Layla Martin's program. And I thought I was going to be a women's sexual empowerment coach. That's what I was going to school to study. But as I went through the next 2 years of studying and getting that certificate, I realized all I was talking about was relationships and non-monogamy. I was like, oh, this is kind of a passion of mine.
I love that. Yeah. And so to extrapolate, looking around to see what it is that you talk about, whoever you are, what the things that are coming out of your mouth that you're reading, that you're interested in, that you are focusing on, I think a starting place that a lot of folks might not recognize.
Truly. Truly. I think we all have these internal drives, these directions that we want to go. And then we go, oh, wait, what will people think? Or what should I do? What is the right, quote unquote, the right thing to do? And often that answer is not the same as what we really want to do or really have a deep desire for.
Yeah. And so that desire and recognizing that desire is really a step towards understanding who you are, which is a step towards confidence.
Yeah, 100%.
How can you specifically, Ellecia, how can you help people do that? Like what are some of the ways that you work with people along those lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times people will come to me going, I want to open my relationship or my partner wants to open our relationship, but I don't know. or we jumped in the deep end, we opened up, and now we're floundering, and I don't know what I want. Thought I wanted to have a bunch of sex, but now I'm scared I'm going to lose my relationship, or I wanted to have a bunch of love, but now my partner wants a bunch of sex. Like there's a lot of, I just don't know. Am I doing everything wrong? And the first thing I always tell people is we got to get some clarity, right? We got to get really clear on like what is the desire? Why? What will that do for you? What is your like North Star, the guiding light that makes it worth going through hard work to come out the other side? And really digging in and going like, what is the desire, right? If the desire is more sex, well, why? What is it about that? What does that give you? What does that feed? If the desire is more connections, more relationships, what will that do for you? What will change in your life? What are you hoping will be different? Or what are you hoping the outcome on the other side of that is? And it's often not what people think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you're helping reframe some of their questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some of the surprising
Absolutely.
insights that come up when that happens on your client's end?
I think a lot of people are surprised to find that, oh gosh, there's so many different scenarios. But a lot of times what they think the issue is, like the challenge that they're bumping up against is often not even actually what the challenge is, right? It might be like, hey, we have different libidos. One of us wants more sex and the other one doesn't. And so we opened up so that you can go do your thing, right? And it turns out that like that's not actually what they wanted. They just wanted like a deep connection and thought that sex was the only way to get that. Or they think that I'm being so clear about what I want and what my desires are, what my boundaries are. And then it turns out that actually the words I'm using are not hitting home for my partner. And we think we're saying the same thing, but we keep fighting because like we don't mean the same thing when we use the same words, right? Like lots of communication issues there. What else? Oh, and then the biggest one I think is a confidence thing. Human beings are just really bad at guessing how we're going to feel about an imagined scenario, right? We throw out all these hypotheticals like, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. And then we see our partner put their hand on someone's knee, and the next thing you know, the floor is falling out from under you, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die and get divorced. I don't know what to do. That's not what I thought would happen. Clearly, something is wrong. So much of the challenges that people run into come back to confidence and self-worth. What if nobody chooses me? Or what if my partner leaves me for someone else? Or what if I leave my partner for someone else? What if I fall in love with someone better, right? Like so much of it comes down to how do I feel about myself? And we run into our insecurities in ways that don't get confronted often in monogamous relationships. We're like, oh, I thought I was totally good. I thought I was totally confident. And now I'm being faced with competition, right? I'm being faced with somebody who has something that I feel insecure about. That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
totally see that. And from a very personal perspective, I've never been monogamous in my entire life. Like back in the 80s, we called it an open relationship,
Yeah.
which is fine. And I've had some partners that were great with that and some that were, wish they hadn't done that. And that's totally okay. And still today, literally today, I was hanging out with someone who is an ex who has a new playmate. And I found myself being like snippy and was shocked by that. Like, what is that about? And this person and I haven't been seeing each other for years and years and years. We're just really good friends. And it's fascinating and being comfortable. Like, okay, that's interesting. I'm going to look at that and think about that and wonder about that. Doesn't have to mean much. It might mean something that I'm not looking at. I haven't really thought about it yet, but I just want to throw it out there that it's okay.
Yeah, and we're kind of taught that if you have a feeling like that, you have to jump on it. You have to do something about it, or that it means something is wrong, someone harmed you, or oh my God, I'm still in love with him. Like when really most of things our nervous systems respond to is the past. It kind of treats everything that's happened in the past. It associates the current right now, what we're doing, as though it were then.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be urgent.
Yeah.
And
Take
it doesn't
time.
have to mean everything, like, or
Yeah.
anything. Fun fact. The first flogger my honey and I bought together was a beautiful handmade leather piece by a nice small local company called Agreeable Agony. Over a decade later, it is still my favorite toy, and I'm happy to say that they are still around making toys and have grown to have an online website. So you don't have to go to an event to buy them. You can purchase discreetly from your home. And I'm even more excited to tell you that if you use my code, SexFairyGwen, or go through the link on my webpage, whatexcitesus.com, you can get 5% off your entire purchase. So go visit Agreeable Agony today. They have implement toys, wax, books, rope, things that you can learn from, things that you can play with, and all of it is super fun. So go visit agreeableagony.com today and be sure to tell them Sex Fairy Gwen sent you. So since you help folks with that and reconnecting with their own sense of pleasure and desire and honesty and figuring out what that means for them, I bet shame comes up a lot.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can get away from shame in most areas of our lives, but especially when we're talking about love and sex. There's so much. We're taught that, and we're all a little bit different, that there's a right way to do things, and pretty much every way that we're doing them is the wrong way. I know very few people who are actually really desire and feel comfortable and fulfilled and happy in doing things the right way, because it's kind of an achievable fairy tale.
Yeah. Do you find people worried that they're being greedy for having desire?
Being greedy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, which is wild to me. I think that we have these innate desires. We have things that we want to do and feel and experience and say and connect with people. And our desires are there to guide us. They aren't inherently like bad or wrong. They're there to guide us in the direction of what will fulfill us, what will help us live lives that feel really good and juicy and fulfilling. But we've kind of been taught that, especially if you are someone who was raised as a little girl, we've been taught through our patriarchal system that your job, your entire purpose is to serve, to be desireless, to not be greedy at all, to give all of yourself and to suffer in silence. That's the only way you can be a good girl, is to serve. But that's not there can be some fulfillment in there, sure, but not if you're just abandoning yourself and giving up all of yourself. It's not fulfilling. It creates a lot of resentment. And when you get to the end of your life, you're going to look back and go, wow, I gave so much. I recently read something about how most men at their funerals, everyone talks about the things that they achieved in their lives and the children that they left, the families they left, and what they achieved and did. And the women, everybody talked about how well they treated the people they left behind. She did so much for me. She made me feel so good. But nobody talks about the women's achievements and the mark that they left on the world, besides she did everything for me. And that doesn't feel, I mean, that's not what I once said about me. I want people to love me because of who I am and not because of what I've done for them. And I think one of the main ways to do that is to follow your desires. At the very least, speak up about your desires and see what's available, because that's your desire shows you where the juice is for you. And shame is just silly. I'm sure it has a purpose through evolution of like keeping us connected to our communities. There's a reason that the emotion exists, but our culture has used it to create a whole bunch of servants.
Yeah. My theory on that is that back when we were still, prehistory, literally up until a couple hundred years ago, depending on where you were, that shame would help keep you alive. Because if you were cast out, you could be eaten literally by tigers. Whereas in the group, you had more safety. But that is not the case anymore unless you live in, a very select amount of places. There are no tigers coming for us.
Huh. Yeah. I
Probably not
often
for
say our
human-
brains are still living in caves.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And so that piece of that shame piece that is such a strong motivator, as you said, especially for people socialized to be women, like, thank you for helping, but you can move along now. It's not, you
Yeah.
are no longer wanted or needed. Please go somewhere else.
Totally.
I just need to hop on and interrupt this conversation for a moment to say that I've updated my thinking on shame a bit. It is absolutely always a protection mechanism, but it's not only relegated to usefulness in the past. If you've grown up in a super restrictive household or an abusive household, shame kept you safe. And that was very, very useful. But now, hopefully, you have moved on and are not in that situation, and you can thank it for its help and let it go. I understand it's not as easy as it sounds, but recognizing that that is a possibility is a really good start. Can you suggest something that folks can do when they notice that coming up to help move through it? Like a tangible sort of exercise of sorts?
Yeah. Yeah. Shame likes to live in the dark. It thrives when it's hidden. When we push it down, it really thrives and it sticks around. So when we speak up, I'm feeling embarrassed, I'm feeling ashamed, I'm feeling like I'm wrong, and speak up about it, it loses all of its energy. It loses all of its power over you. And that can feel really terrifying to do. So the first thing I always suggest is to regulate your nervous system with really simply with just slow breathing, noticing the room around you, noticing what you can touch, what you can smell, what you can see, what you can taste, because that tells your nervous system, oh, okay, I'm not being chased by a tiger or a lion. Uh, I'm just feeling a little shame. So you regulate your nervous system a little bit and go, hey, I'm feeling this thing to whoever, right? To whoever it is. Even if it's just to the room, just speaking it out loud makes such a huge difference. Or writing it down, even just getting it out of your head so it's not spiraling.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
and it's relatively simple, but not always easy. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
everybody knows that it's okay if this doesn't feel easy, because sometimes it's really, really not, especially when it's something that's really deep. And when you start talking about what we're talking about with confidence and with pleasure and with creating intimacy, those shame pieces can be so deep.
Yeah. I always tell people practice it with smaller things, right? Don't wait until you have a big thing. Like practice it regularly. Regularly do some things to regulate your nervous system, right? You hit your brakes too hard at the red light, and that's a little bit embarrassing. Take a few deep breaths and go, oh, wow, I feel a little embarrassed that I slammed on the brakes so hard, right? Like little tiny things, because it gets easier and easier to do.
Great advice. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, so now I'm imagining that I'm Susan and I live in Kansas. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling these things and I feel like I'm ready to start maybe exploring non-monogamy in some ways. What would you suggest as a starting place?
I would suggest little tiny baby steps. A lot of people kind of think of it as like a light switch. Either I'm monogamous or I'm non-monogamous. And they imagine non-monogamous to be, and now I'm going to go and do sex things with people. But there's so many other steps between here and there that will save you so much heartache, right? Like having conversations about it. What is it like to go out and flirt with someone that isn't my partner and then come back and talk to my partner about it? What is it like to go on a date where there's no physical intimacy and then come back and talk to my partner about it? right? Like all the little baby steps and go, okay, what worked? What didn't work? What felt good? What felt bad? Just so many conversations to have around it.
Yeah. And going back to what you said earlier with the why, I think is really important too.
And the why can change, right? Like we go, I think this is what I want. And then we go and have that experience, right? I think I want to go down that slide. And then we go down the slide and we're like, oh my God, it's hot from the sun. I never want to go down that slide in the sun again. I'm going to change this. I want to go down the slide with pants on or at night. Right? Like the thing we want can change. Too often people go, well, but this is what I said I want, so I have to stick with it. You get to change your mind. You always get to change your mind. You get to do something different.
That is such an important piece. Thank you for bringing that up. Especially as people born with uteruses. I don't know about you, Ellecia, but I am frequently changing my mind mid-thing. I'm like, oh no, this line is hot. Get me off, get me off, get me off.
Yeah. This sounded great. I don't want it anymore.
I'm done now. Thanks. This was lovely. Gotta go back. Yeah. Yeah. And then to pull that back into the shame piece and the confidence piece, it doesn't mean that you're not a confident person or that you're a bad person or that you don't want pleasure or that any of those things that those of us that are on the neurospicy or anxiety spectrum can have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The catastrophizing. That was the word that I was looking for.
Yes. Yeah. My mom has my whole life always said, and I love this, I used to think it was really silly, and now I'm like, oh, she's really wise. She always said, who's going to care in 100 years? I'm like, Mom, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about 100 years from now. And she's like, okay, who's going to care next year? Oh, shit. Probably no one.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I'm frequently telling my children.
Yeah.
That you don't get to, there's no point where you win. There's no end. I understand they're biologically supposed to fit in, but then that starts to ease off and they're like, why haven't I figured it out? I'm like, you're 20. What?
Yeah.
It's okay. Things take time and practice, and it's okay.
Truly.
And especially pulling it back in, this is not about me or my kids or my life, but about Susan in the Midwest somewhere, figuring out what it is that she likes. It's okay if you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But you got to start asking yourself, right? Because if you don't start questioning it, you're never going to get to the answer.
Right. And it's those questions, experiments, practice pieces, right, that help us figure out what style of relationship works for us.
Yeah.
So I also imagine that in your coaching practice, intimacy comes up a fair amount.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many questions around this. First of all, I absolutely hate the fact that now we have to use intimacy as a synonym for sex, because that's not true at all. You can have intimate sex. You can also have very unintimate sex.
Yes.
And you can have intimacy with friends and other just partners that you have no sexual relationship with. So how do you help your folks figure those pieces out? I mean, if somebody comes to you and is like, okay, I want to be polyamorous because I want more intimacy in my life. And I'm not sure what that actually means. How do I approach this?
Yeah. Lots of questions. So many questions, right? Like, what feels intimate to you? What do you want to get out of that? Is it, when you say intimacy, is it, I want to hug and hold hands with lots of people? Is it, I want to get railed by 27 dudes? Is it right? Like, what is intimacy? Is it something in between there? what are the fears that come along with those desires? How can we address those fears, right? Is it fears of is it sexual safety and STIs? Okay. How can we get educated on all the ways to keep yourself safe, the conversations to have? Is it fears of being emotionally intimate and potentially getting hurt? Then how can we boost your sense of security and self, in that regardless of what other people do, you still know that you are lovable and worthy? Is it a fear of feeling ashamed, right? Like just, so what are the desires? What do you want to get out of it? What are the fears that come up around it, so we can actually work with those and actually address them instead of waiting until the what if happens? Because we love to be prepared. And then also really knowing that, like, you won't think of all the what ifs. And that's totally fine. You're going to have experiences that you didn't anticipate. And some of them are going to be really amazing and some of them might not be. But staying staying in the safe zone where there's no ups and downs, there's no risk, there's no reward. For most people, probably that are listening to this, they're probably tired of staying in that safe zone where there is no risk and reward. We want to feel all the good things, and just finding the ways to slowly and bit by bit experience will give you more information to make the next choices on.
Yeah, I love that. That's really great.
Oh, and also go make love to yourself. Okay? If you don't know what you want intimately, start playing with yourself. Go masturbate about it. Figure out what turns you on. Figure out what turns you off. What kind of touch do you like? What kind of scents do you like? What kind of music do you like playing that makes you feel turned on? Like, what environment do you prefer? Is it long? Is it slow? Is it rough, hard, hot, cold? Like, what do you really like? Start experimenting with yourself so that you know yourself intimately and can ask partners for that.
Oh, that's juicy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have a workshop that you are gifting to folks who are listening to this. Tell us about that.
Yeah. It's breaking out of the monogamous box for thriving non-monogamous relationships. And it's like an hour and a half. And you can go to my website, elleciapaine.com/breaking out. And you can just immediately watch that video. And in there, what I really talk about is the ways that we've been conditioned in a monogamous culture that still sneak in to non-monogamous relationships. For example, even though I knew from the very beginning I did not want to be monogamous, I met my second husband very quickly, and we've never been monogamous together. And man, did I struggle with jealousy so hard. And he kept asking me, like, we could just close this. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to be monogamous. I see the reward at the end of the tunnel, and my nervous system is responding to all the things I've been told my whole life about relationships and love and sex. And I want to work through this. And so I really talk about some of those ways that our monogamous conditioning and culture, the ghost of monogamy, is still going to influence relationships, even when you make the logical, conscious decision to open up, and lots of tools and whatnot in there.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And I love that you are so open about the fact that you experienced a lot of jealousy
Mm-hmm.
and have done work to get through that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I think that's a big stopping block for a lot of people. They're like, no, I'm too jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just an emotion. We just don't have a lot of experience with dealing with that emotion, right? Like, if you were like, oh, I can't be in a relationship because I'm too angry, people would be like, well, you need to go to anger management. Like, that's a thing you should work on. But we don't do that with jealousy for some reason. Like, if I'm feeling too jealous, I need tools and the opportunities to learn how to manage it, and to learn how to regulate my nervous system and have decent, nice, kind conversations with the people that I love. It just takes practice and the right tools.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But we don't even, I mean, there are entire cultures that don't allow that possibility even.
Yeah.
There are cultures where like jealousy is seen as a good thing.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. But if that doesn't actually work for you, there are alternatives.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been great. This is really, really, really good. I'm
Thank
so delighted to chat with you. And I hope everybody goes and watches your workshop and tunes into your podcast, because you clearly have so much to share and really great tools and information around this topic. Thank you, Ellecia.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Wasn't that amazing? Oh my goodness. So the offer that Ellecia had during the summit is no longer available, but there are a variety of other things that she offers for free and, of course, for being paid. Her coaching style is amazing, as you can see. If you enjoy her, please go find her. She is available on all the socials. She is Ellecia Paine, and of course you can find her at ElleciaPaine.com. Thank you so much for listening to What Excites Us. It is directed, produced, and edited by me. I am Gwen Isaacs, and the music I use is under the Creative Commons Attribution License. It's by Stefan Kartenberg and Julius H. And one last thing before we go, I just want to remind you that whatever you're into is okay. You are normal, and you have permission to enjoy it, as long as you're not harming anyone else or yourself. If you enjoyed this, please tell a friend and come find me at whatexcitesus.com. You are amazing. I promise.